Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Tony Ndoro live from Johannesburg, and these are your headlines. Exclusive footage emerges of the deadly shootout between police and suspected robbers at Edenvale High School in Johannesburg. Despite being implicated in state capture, a subsidiary company of Bosasa continues to provide services to the Department of Correctional Service.
Rise up! Yes! Come on! Come on! Hey!
Dead on Friday, alive on Sunday. A Johannesburg pastor purportedly resurrects a congregant during a Sunday service. Now, eNews has obtained exclusive footage of a deadly shootout between police and suspected robbers at Edenvale High School in Johannesburg. On Thursday, a gang of armed men held up staff and stole 8,000 rand. 2 men were killed during the shooting, while 1 was wounded. Lindokuhle filed this report.
A few minutes before noon on Thursday, a group of armed men claiming to be parents can be seen entering Edenvale High School. 7 minutes later, having robbed the school, they flee. But police had already been alerted, officers are waiting, and a shootout ensues. In this shot, you can see one of the robbers being wounded. He falls and later dies. Others are seen escaping. Police have since made 5 arrests. The men have appeared at the Germiston Magistrates Court charged with business robbery, possession of unlicensed firearms and attempted murder. Among those nabbed is an Uber driver who claimed he'd been hijacked. But police are confident in their case.
We will present all the evidence before the court, and we believe with what we have, we have a strong case against all the suspects who were involved in the Edenvale High School robbery.
Other Uber drivers were at court denying their colleagues' involvement.
Uber needs to hand over the records of his trips because, in fact, he did drop some children at the school prior to this happening. So we do strongly believe in his innocence.
Police are still searching for more suspects. Those arrested will be back in court on the 4th of March. Lindokuhle, Johannesburg.
Now, at least 3 people were killed and several others injured in a shooting near the Durban police station in the CBD. Metro Police confirmed that one of those involved in the shooting was an off-duty officer. Officials say the shooting happened at a student residence. The deceased neighbor explains how she hid in her flat when she heard the gunshots.
I only had about 7 gunshots.
And what next?
And then I just saw people coming in large numbers. I didn't know what was happening, but I wasn't aware that something has happened just next to my place.
What did you do when you heard the gunshots? Did you hide?
Yes, I decided to lock myself in the house because I didn't want to witness anything or be part of anything.
So whose flat was this?
It was his flat, the deceased.
And he's a Metro?
Yes.
What do we know about him?
He likes fun. He likes fun. He likes drinking with his friends. He likes inviting a lot of people in his place.
Controversial company Bosasa continues to benefit from the dubious technological security contract extended unlawfully by the Correctional Services Department. Minister Michael Masuta announced the department is retaining the services of Sondolo IT, a subsidiary of Bosasa, on a month-to-month basis to safeguard its high-risk facilities. Bosasa, which is now called African Global Operations, is under the spotlight of the State Capture Commission for multi-million rand tenders received under questionable conditions. Muluko Mulota reports.
A 2009 SIU report recommended the NPA consider charging former Commissioner Linda Mti, ex-CFO Patrick Gillingham, Bosasa and its implicated officials. The NPA only did this 10 years later, following explosive testimonies before the Zondo Commission. The SIU report recommended the Correctional Services Department pursue Bosasa through a civil lawsuit to recover financial losses. This never happened. These ministers also sat back when their directors general ignored a National Treasury directive to blacklist Bosasa.
You see, when I studied the report of the SIU of 2009, it does not outline in what manner, in any detail, was the state put out of pocket.
But the minister admits, in hindsight, he should have pressed for the blacklisting of Bosasa.
So I agree, blacklisting would have put a stop to continued procurement by a company who now, as we see on the Zondo Commission, had dubious dealings.
From the look of it, the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into State Capture is exactly what was needed to shine a light on the quicksand of corruption. Molo Kumulot, Pretoria.
Heads will roll. That's the promise made by the Tshwane mayor following the cancellation of the controversial contract with engineering consultancy firm Glad Africa. The Auditor General found the multi-million rand consultancy deal was irregular. The mayor says the scrapping of the contract was based on mutual agreement. Leranzo Temba has more.
500 million rand. That's how much the city of Tshwane has already paid to consultancy firm Glad Africa for 15 months of work.
That's good. Good.
The contract has now been cancelled and the mayor is insisting there was no sweetheart deal.
No golden handshake. The assessment is that they deal with the projects that they were given up until the 30th of June and they invoice based on those projects and we walk away.
Mukhalapa is admitting the irregular deal has impacted heavily on service delivery. The city manager responsible for appointing Glad Africa will keep his job for now. But the mayor says there will be consequences.
The impact will be sitting to now go into the nuts and bolts in terms of culpability. Who was responsible for what?
The blue-colored handshake.
But the ANC in Tshwane is furious, saying the botched contract will affect ratepayers.
The mayor should have called that the $500 million given illegally and irregularly should be recovered instead of more money being paid. Because you can't bleed the city by saying you are doing a mutual agreement. How do you do a mutual agreement on an illegal contract and irregular contract?
The city will still pay another estimated 250 million rand to Glad Africa for work done before the June cut-off date. Leranzo Temba, Pretoria.
Okay, here's a quick wrap from the inquiries. Suspended senior prosecutor Nomgcobo Jiba today continued to make a last-ditch attempt to save her job. In a testimony at the Mokgoro inquiry, she denied targeting her former provincial Hawks boss, Johan Boysen, and protecting the previous crime intelligence boss, Richard Mhluli. Jiba concluded her testimony and cross-examination today. Eskom Board Chair Jabu Mabuza today told the State Capture inquiry of disturbing details on how the law was broken at Eskom. Emails showed strategic data was leaked from former acting Eskom CEO Machela Koko's Eskom email account. Mabuza insists Gupta associate Salim Essa was the recipient. He also testified Medupi and Kusile were meant to cost about 70 and 80 billion rand, but costs shot up to roughly 140 billion rand each following repeated delays. Deputy Finance Minister Mondli Gungubele raised concerns at the PIC inquiry about the way allegations of impropriety against the former CEO were dealt with. During his testimony, Gungubele admitted there have been serious divisions within the board of the Public Investment Corporation. That was over the way members dealt with the serious allegations of mismanagement against the then CEO, Dan Machila. He was accused of giving his lover a huge loan using PIC funds. Now, a video of a pastor claiming to raise a man from the dead has gone viral on social media. The man allegedly died on Friday and was purportedly resurrected on Sunday, with congregants watching. South Africans were quick with reactions, creating the so-called Resurrection Challenge. Andrea van Wyk takes a look.
He was in a mortuary.
In this viral video, a man dressed in white is seen lying in a coffin. Note, his mouth is open. Congregants gather around. Pastor Alf Lukau of the Alleluia Ministries International Church in Johannesburg prays for him.
Hello, Elliot. Elliot. Elliot.
Jesus.
Lift your hands. Lift your hands.
Lukau lays his hands on the man. Then the alleged deceased sits up and looks around, seemingly surprised at what's happened. The would-be modern-day Lazarus is carried out of the coffin with those around him celebrating. South Africans have been quick off the mark, creating the hashtag Resurrection Challenge. It shows people mocking the video by pretending to be dead and then woken up. Some even suggested it's a good excuse to be late for work. Meanwhile, the Council of African Independent Churches says it's appalled and that the entire incident is clearly staged. Andrea van Wyk, Johannesburg.
Okay, interesting. Stay with us on eNews. Coming up, R&B star R. Kelly is behind bars after he was arrested on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sex abuse involving 3 minors.
What do you say to the black woman?
Okay, welcome back. Now, R&B star R. Kelly remains behind bars tonight after he was arrested on Friday on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sex abuse involving 3 minors. Over the years, Kelly has faced a slew of lawsuits and accusations over child pornography, sex with minors, operating a sex cult and sexual battery. William Denslow joins us now live from New York for an update. William, good to see you as always. Please give us an update. R. Kelly was actually in court today for a plea. What happened there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've heard from Stephen Greenberg, who is R. Kelly's attorney, who has, on behalf of his client, pled not guilty to all 10 counts that his client faces. Now, Mr. Greenberg says that all the accusers are lying and, quote, everyone's trying to profit off R. Kelly. He's also very much laid the finger of blame at the prosecutor and at the state's attorney, Kimberly Fox, for what he describes as crumbling to public pressure. Of course, this all, comes in the wake of a documentary series that's been released called Surviving R. Kelly, and this is really where this renewed interest really has stemmed from.
There are bail conditions set for R. Kelly, $1 million, but he's struggling to raise just the 10% he needs to get out of jail.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. $100,000 needed to make bail, but according to his attorney, he says, describing, quote, that R. Kelly's finances are a mess and that he really doesn't have any money. So as things stand, as far as it's being reported in the United States, that while R. Kelly's team is trying to muster up the money needed to make bail, he is expected to remain behind bars before that happens. Of course, these are some massive charges that R. Kelly faces. Of course, these 10 counts, each of which carry the maximum of 10 years behind bars.
Okay, that's it's 10 charges, 10 years behind bars. We can all do the maths. And just quickly tell us about some of the new charges that have come up after, or the new voices that are coming out after the actual documentary itself.
Yeah, that's as you so rightly mentioned. There have been multiple cases brought against R. Kelly, multiple accusations in the past, but of course he has beaten the charges before. He's vehemently denied any of these accusations, but new evidence has come forward, according to attorneys, saying that there's new videotape coming from around 1999 that prosecutors say clearly shows R. Kelly having sexual contact with a 14-year-old girl. Now, of course, the attorneys on the defence side have denied any of these allegations, but these, of course, all come in the wake of this documentary, and there was a public plea for more voices to come forward after that documentary was aired, and some accounts say that there was a 20% spike when it came to people coming forward with allegations against R. Kelly. But, of course, his next court appearance is expected at the end of March, and as we heard from the defence team, they vehemently deny all these charges.
All right, William Denslow, they're talking to us live from New York. Thank you so much for that update. Okay, let's bring it back home now and take a look at the markets and what they look like today. The JSE failed to track positive sentiment on global markets. The weaker rand and falling oil price weighed on local miners. In terms of the resources shares, AngloGold Ashanti losing nearly 2% today. Diversified miners were also down. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump gave the market much of its direction, with the price of oil coming under pressure after he tweeted his displeasure at rising oil prices. And the rand held on to its post-budget gains after President Trump extended a deadline for China and the U.S. to reach a trade agreement. It was up by more than 1% at close of markets today. After the break, we go to Joe Guy, who's standing by at our weather center for your live weather report. And then
which means in times like these we are strong.
Trevor Noah puts a Xhosa spin on his Oscar presentation, taking the mickey out of the audience in the Dolby Theatre. Welcome back. Time to take a look at what's happening weather-wise with Joe Guy. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Tony, and welcome to the Weather Center, everyone. Right now, we have some thunderstorms going on over the northeastern areas, where it's going to stay pretty unsettled throughout your Monday night going into Tuesday morning. Then on Tuesday, we start off the day with quite a bit of fog over the eastern escarpment areas. It will also be foggy for parts of the west coast. Then further south along the west coast, we are going to see this cold front hitting the southwest coastline early in the morning, introducing rainy weather into Cape Town. So wet roads for you on Tuesday morning if you're in the mother city. Then throughout the day, the wet weather spreads into the rest of the Western Cape. A cooler day is forecast for the western parts of the country. Then over the eastern areas, we will continue to see thundershowers extending from the northeast down into KwaZulu-Natal and the eastern areas of the Eastern Cape. Then in the evening, we will see rainy weather setting in across much of the Eastern Cape, and those thundershows translating into the easternmost parts of the country. Now, let's take a look at what you can expect in your part of South Africa. We start with the Northern Cape, where it's going to be mostly sunny and hot for the northeastern sections, but cooler for the southwestern areas, where partly cloudy skies are expected. It will be mostly cloudy with rainy weather over much of the Western Cape. The rain starts early in Cape Town, where a high of 23 is forecast. We're also going to see the rain spreading into the southwestern areas of the Eastern Cape. Thundershows are expected for the eastern parts, where hot temperatures are forecast for you Tuesday. We're also going to see stormy weather for much of KwaZulu-Natal, where highs in the mid to upper 30s are forecast. Ulundi hitting the 40-degree mark. Thundershows are also forecast across the Mpumalanga province, where highs in the upper 20s and lower 30s are forecast. We're also going to see unsettled weather and hot afternoon temperatures for much of the Limpopo province. Thundershows are also forecast for the eastern half of the northwest. It will be mostly sunny for the westernmost areas. We're also going to see stormy weather for the eastern areas of the Free State, extending northwards into Gauteng, where highs in the upper 20s and lower 30s are expected. Then just looking ahead to your Wednesday, fairly wet weather is forecast for the eastern areas. That's all from me. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Joe Guy, there with the weather details for the next couple of days. Now, finally, the glitzy and also glamorous 91st Academy Awards took place in Hollywood on Sunday. And while a whole list of incredible films made the cut, some of our homegrown talent also stole the show at the Oscars, but for very different reasons. Tanya Neft has more.
It's this clip that's gone viral since the annual Oscars. South African funny guy Trevor Noah did it again.
My African friends are like Wakanda forever.
This time taking the mickey out of his audience at one of the world's most watched award ceremonies. Noah was presenting Black Panther as one of the nominees for Best Picture, and then this happened.
Growing up as a young boy in Wakanda, I would see King T'Challa flying over our village, and he would remind me of a great Xhosa phrase, Abelungu abayazi bandiaqoka, which means in times like these we are stronger when we fight together than when we try to fight apart.
While no one in Tinseltown got the joke, people back home had a field day on social media. Some good, but others not finding the prank so funny.
Well, he is a comedian. I don't know how seriously he meant it, so I'll take it as a joke.
What do you think about that?
Yes, being black is so lit. This is awesome.
And these are just facts, to be honest.
Meanwhile, Black Panther didn't receive the Best Picture award, but bagged 3 Oscars at the end of the night, one including Best Costume Design. Tanya Tanya Neft, Cape Town.
Okay, let's just recap our main headline tonight. Exclusive footage emerges of the deadly shootout between police and suspected robbers at Edenvale High School in Johannesburg. That's it from myself and the team behind the scenes. Good night.